Hey everybody, welcome to Diamonds and Hashmarks. It's been a while. So let's go ahead and give you guys a little life update, just so you guys understand why we were gone for 3 weeks. Because it's been 3 weeks. It's
It's
been
been
three
3 weeks.
weeks.
It's been a while.
Crazy. So I went on vacation, came back, and then it was Thanksgiving, and Peyton was traveling. I was traveling. Didn't really have an opportunity to record, let alone record while we were together because the bandwidth was kind of shoddy where we were. Um, then I got sick, and I got a puppy. So life's been a bit chaotic recently, and we haven't really had time to sit down and do one of these. So, Peyton, I'll go ahead and let you know that he is in a different room right now, and he's having a hard time getting settled in his little crate area right now.
Sure.
Um, so if it gets to be too loud or too much, or you can definitely hear him, just give me one of those. And I'll figure out how to mute in between speaking. That way we don't blow the stereo on any of our friends' sound systems as they're listening to us. So, Diamonds and Hashmarks, another DNH episode, the first one in 3 weeks. Like that's a week short of being a month, and I know that sounds like just common math, but it's been a while.
It has been
and a lot has happened. Ordinarily, if it were a Monday, we'd be doing football first, but because football is kind of at the forefront of the conversation, we're going to do a football first Thursday, because I definitely know what day it is right now. So, before we do any of that, just want to remind you guys that we are essentially available anywhere you can get your podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can even check us out on YouTube if you want to watch the show. Trying to figure out a way to have the show be live on YouTube at a specific time on Mondays and Thursdays, where you guys could tune in live to watch us if you wanted to. Check out Nest.pod and What's Up Doc. Those are shows also available on those streaming platforms. Hit them up with a 5-star review. Hit us up with a 5-star review. Helps the algorithm figure out who to recommend us to next. And that helps tremendously. It's awesome when that happens. You guys are still loving the content. We're still loving doing it. But we got to get more content out there. So that's what today's all about. Recording and finding content and pushing it out. So expect to see a lot of us on the socials. Speaking of, Diamond Hashmark on Twitter, Diamonds and Hashmarks on YouTube, on Instagram. Throw an @gmail.com on the end of it, and you can let us know what you think about what we think. We're back and better. And if you don't think we're better, again, Diamonds and Hashmarks @gmail.com. If our takes are that heinous. I have been known to have a couple of those. But coming up on a new year and thinking about resolutions, I'm probably going to try to venture into, let's not have as many heinous takes that I have to apologize for in the next year. Because we've only done the show for like 3 months, 4 months. And I've had to apologize, 7 times now? That's crazy.
We should have a counter at some point.
Ooh, I'll get one of those over my shoulder. Days since last apology.
Oh,
how about that?
Yes, we need that. We need that for sure.
No, that could go heinously wrong. Anyway, also on YouTube, I put a heinous takes playlist on there. So there are only 2 videos there now, but if things continue, I will continue adding to that. It will be very easy to add to that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk some college football. Peyton, you and I finished recording that one day before we took a 3-week break, and we had 3 games left in the regular season of college football?
I think so.
And here we are on the other side of it. Lots of changes.
I
think the biggest change definitely is FSU getting snubbed. I'll put it in quotation marks, because a lot of you will probably think that they didn't necessarily get snubbed, but I think the biggest change is FSU not making it into the college football playoff, in spite of them having a undefeated season and winning their conference. So, Peyton, I want to go ahead and toss it to you. Did FSU get snubbed? Yes or no?
Yes, I do agree that they did get snubbed.
Okay.
I live down here near a college town, so FGCU is the college town that I live in, and we don't have a football team down here, so everybody's either a Gator fan or a Florida State fan. Florida State is the majority of fans that we have here, and I have been hearing it non-stop. man, we got
Yeah, they're
snubbed.
angry.
Man, they're angry, very angry.
Yeah.
And I totally understand why. I do believe that they did get snubbed. I couldn't believe it, honestly. I was at I was at church on Sunday, and like they were playing like the broadcast on their phones or whatever. And we were waiting. Michigan was number one, Washington was number two, Texas number three. Now we're all waiting for that four because we know, man, it's either going to be Alabama, who played a great game against Georgia, or
Yeah.
it's going to be FSU, who had a subpar game against Louisville, but still won the ACC championship, still won their conference. It was a toss up. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I think the rest of the world knew what was going to happen. And sure enough, as we said on this episode, as we said on Diamonds and Hashmarks before, Alabama found a way to get into the college football playoff.
Yeah, they did.
And
They did what they needed to do
yeah,
it.
they did what they needed to do.
Now, did they actually deserve that? I think that's still up for debate. But they did everything that they could. They
Yeah.
ran the rest of the schedule after that bad loss against Texas, and then
Yep.
they continued to get better in that conference championship, the SEC championship, which is in Atlanta, Georgia, by the way, a longer trip for Element fans to go to that game. And they showed
Yeah.
up and they showed out. And I was impressed. And I actually texted a bunch of friends. Can FSU win by a small enough margin to get kicked out of the college football playoff? And I think ultimately, hindsight being 2020, the answer to that was yes. Like if FSU was going to make it into the college football playoff, they had to blow Louisville out of the water. And they just didn't do it. So here we have an undefeated Power 5 conference champion not making it in.
Not making it in. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy
And
to me.
There's a lot of rumors and a lot of arguments going around just with I'm like really slow. Am I really slow for you?
A little bit, but it's fine.
Hello?
Just keep talking. It eventually catches up.
Oh, okay,
That's
cool.
bad.
So what I was saying though, like the argument that could be made, like they didn't have Jordan Travis obviously to be able to help him out, obviously because snapped his leg. Lots of prayers go out to him. I hope he has a great recovery.
Yeah.
And then you throw out your second string out there again with the game against Florida, and then he gets targeted on a targeting call that was pretty much a targeting call. Or he was targeting is what I meant to say. I don't even know what are words today. Anyway, and then now he's out for the concussion protocol, and then you're throwing your third string out there. So those are a lot of arguments, and then you also have the argument of like, man, we really want the SEC in the college football playoffs, and we're gonna leave out FSU, and it's crazy to me, man. It's crazy to me. I've heard it all week.
It is wild.
So, yeah,
I think the way that the teams were picked this year, it lends a lot of leeway to the conversation of did they pick the 4 best teams or the 4 most deserving teams? Because I think those are different. If we're looking at more deserving teams, I think FSU gets in. If we're looking at the 4 best teams, Georgia gets in. I think if Georgia were in, it would not matter who they were playing against, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Vegas would see Georgia as the favorite.
Yeah, I think so.
Right? Right. So, I don't know. If the committee is saying we're trying to take the 4 best teams, I don't think they did that. I think they took the 4, I don't know, most deserving teams, but you can't even say that because they kicked FSU out. Or they didn't take FSU. I had a buddy say, you can't get kicked out if you were never in. And that is as true as ever for FSU.
Right.
You guys technically were never in. But I think the committee did do you dirty because they did rank you at number 4 a week prior. And then you didn't win by enough, which is crazy. But you won a conference championship, but not by enough. So now we know 1, Michigan, 2, Washington, 3, Texas, 4, Bama, 5, Georgia, 6, FSU.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, I can't remember who number 7 is, but left out of that, Ohio State, Oregon. Oregon's number 8. And I wanted to talk about Oregon for a second. Phenomenal year. 2 losses at the end of the year. They're 2 losses against the same team, Washington. Once in the regular season, once in the conference championship.
Yep.
Guess who their bowl game matchup is? Liberty University.
Yeah.
and I hate this. I think Oregon is much more deserving of a more quality bowl game opponent because
Yeah.
that doesn't help you recruiting wise. If you
Mind
finish the
you,
year,
Bo Nix, Heisman finalist.
right, yeah, and if you finish the year 11-2 and your two losses came against the number 2 team in the nation, I don't think you should be playing the number 23 team in your bowl game.
Yeah,
Who,
that makes sense.
I guess, by all accounts, they're undefeated. I guess they kind
Yep.
of deserve to have a good opponent in the bowl game. But if you're going to rank Liberty number 23, you need to have them playing number 22 Clemson or number 21 Tennessee, not
Right.
number 8 Oregon. I think they missed on this. They're trying to make something out of nothing, and it's irritating me. Just a bit.
Yeah.
Just a bit, if you
Yeah.
couldn't tell.
Yeah. Do you think Bo Nix
So,
plays?
absolutely. I
Absolutely.
think he does.
Okay.
Although I would be shocked to see seniors of the FSU team walk out there to play Georgia, which like that's going to be tough because shoot, if I were a senior and I were playing for FSU and I don't know if I'm getting drafted or not, and my last game is against Georgia, like I don't know, I could see myself skipping trying to prepare, not risking
Maybe
injury,
so.
or if I'm definitely going to get drafted, like I know some of them are, like I would
Yeah.
consider skipping this game. Would you?
Right.
Do you see that as legitimate, or does that irritate you when you see seniors skip?
I think in this situation, when you have FSU and Georgia, I feel like if you're a senior in this situation, I feel like that's just more fuel to the fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, we didn't
Yeah.
get into the committee, and more fuel to the fire. If we beat Georgia, then the committee was wrong. We end undefeated. We're going to throw a national champion up in the stadium because we deserve it. Because we beat Georgia, who had won before the game against Alabama 29 games in a row.
Yeah,
Wild
which
to me.
is crazy.
Yeah.
But I think you hit on something there that we wanted to discuss. The college football playoff committee's worst nightmare is Georgia losing to FSU
Yeah.
and FSU walking in there and win. If FSU wins by a point, it's a disaster. But if FSU walks in there and trounces Georgia, I don't think that's happening. But if it does, we're not going to hear the end of this forever. It will
Never.
always be the case of what could have been that the NCAA messed up. Did you see
Yeah.
them write in the justification day of as to why they kept FSU out? Like, never in the
Oh, like
history of the College
immediately.
Football Playoff Committee have they ever said availability of players will keep them or could affect the committee's decision one way or another. They didn't say that before. They announced the top 4, FSU wasn't in it, and then you go and look at their justification page, and in there they had written in availability of certain players could affect the decision. Like, they
Wow.
wrote that in so that they could have justification for keeping FSU out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's ballsy, CFP committee.
It is, but hey, for what it's worth, next year this is all different. And I know things are good. It's 12 teams. So really what we're arguing is over teams 12 and 13 and 14 and 15. Do they deserve to be in? Do those guys deserve to be out?
Right.
So ultimately, the way that the rankings stack up this year, and I know it's going to be different in a year when we're looking at which conference champions get in, which 2-loss teams get in. But if the 12-team playoff were this year, we're essentially arguing over whether or not Oklahoma, LSU, Arizona, or Louisville deserve to be number 12.
Yeah. Right.
Which is a less heated debate.
Right.
Like, it's
Yeah,
a
I
really
agree.
good thing that the Alabama, Texas, FSU, and Georgia fan bases are all very reasonable and are definitely not upset. Like, next year's
Right.
fan bases are going to be toned down quite a bit, I think, when we're arguing about those 2-loss teams, 3-loss teams, and what have you. So,
Sure.
we've talked about FSU, one
Mhm.
of the many colleges here in the great state of Florida that didn't make it into the college football playoff, which
Yeah.
also fits the description of every other college with a football team in the state of Florida. The Gators didn't make it. Miami didn't make it. FAU didn't make it. USF didn't make it. None of them did. But the Gators have quite the catastrophe on their hands. and I don't know how much you guys have been paying attention to this recently, but Peyton, remember the episode where I said we have a gauntlet in front of us? We need one more win to get a bowl game, and it's still entirely possible it does not happen.
Yep.
You remember that episode?
I do.
To update you, they did not win another game.
I know.
They have missed a bowl game.
Mhm.
It is the end of Billy Napier's second year, and I'm trying to show the guy grace. I don't know how much longer we can do that.
Right. Yeah.
More than half of his first class that he signed and recruited is currently in the transfer portal, and it's December 7th. ETN, the running back that nobody was worried about, declared for the transfer portal today. It doesn't sound like much can be done to bring him back.
Oh, man.
If you go on Twitter and you look at ETN's liked posts, in there you will see a tweet that says something to the effect of, look, you need to announce these coaches. There's some worry, and he liked it. He's he's not a big fan of the coaches, I guess.
Dang.
There's some urgency that isn't reciprocated between player and coach. Not a good look. Not a good look. And after this, I'll say this. I think we've shown Napier a fair amount of grace up to this point, and I'll do my best.
Especially on this show, for sure.
Yeah, well, because I walked in the first show that we ever did, or second show we ever did, and I was ready to say fire the guy.
Right. Yeah.
But man, I have a hard time seeing him being the head coach of the Florida Gators if he doesn't finish next year with less than 2 losses.
Yeah. No, agreed.
Even if he gets a bowl game next year, I think that's still not enough.
Yeah. Agreed.
I'm finding an issue with just the way that everything's been handled, especially I think the NCAA, we could complain about the transfer portal as much as we want because it's college free agency, and I'm anti-portal the way that it currently runs. But as long as those are the rules, you need to be the best guy out there with those rules. And he's not. He's great at recruiting, but he can't hold on to those guys. He's a great head coach, but he can't call plays. There are these deficiencies that the University of Florida refuses to address. So, before I get too carried away, let's go ahead and move on to the NFL.
Let's do it.
Peyton, you and I, we watched Jags versus Bengals. You watched it on TV. I watched it live. I went to a game. First NFL game I ever went to, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
It's great. Yeah, free football, overtime, even.
I know. First NFL game I ever went to, and I got free football. Went to overtime.
Come on, baby.
Could not have been better, except we lost. I think final score was 34-31.
Yeah, I have it here, 34-31.
Yeah, that was brutal, just to end it. But I'll give you my perspective of what I watched on the field, and then you follow up with, yeah, that's totally accurate, or no, you're totally wrong. All right, so while I was there, what I saw was probably the most enthusiasm for the Jacksonville Jaguars I have ever seen. It was a stadium filled with people ready for the team to win, make a deep run in the playoffs, and be there every step of the way supporting them. It's a fan base so heavily invested that there were people crying when Trevor Lawrence limped.
Oh no.
Like I'm not saying tears flowing, but people like, oh my gosh, you know?
Yeah.
Like screaming for him to stop.
We're
invested. I know. That's exactly.
Don't you dare limp again.
Don't you dare do that. And then he takes a knee. We don't get a card out there for him. I'm like, it took this guy 3 minutes to get off the field. It was ugly. Yeah. I knew it was bad as soon as they didn't show the replay on the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
But
I showed the replay a couple times when I was home. So
I think the main pickup I had was not football related, but more so fan related. It was the most enthusiastic I've ever seen people be over the Jacksonville Jaguars. As far as our play goes, I mean, everything that went wrong kind of did. And what am I right? Am I hitting it on the nose? Did you pick up on any of the enthusiasm on TV?
Yeah, dude. You could hear it from the TV broadcast. It was loud. absolutely electric atmosphere in Jacksonville. So people in Duval are doing it right, man, and I love to hear about it. I love to see it as well, man. Yeah. Um, Up until the point where Trevor got hurt, we were playing a really clean game. I would like to say we were playing a
Yeah,
really clean game.
absolutely.
Things were working our way. ETN was going on some good runs. Ingram was a huge part on our offensive scheme. He had 82 yards for 9 receptions, had a tutty. Um, yeah, and I was ready. I was ready to like be like, hey, yeah, I think we're gonna win this game. Like
Yeah,
everything seems to be going our way. We have the ball again. Then Trevor got hurt, and we're
yeah.
like, gosh darn it. And then I don't know if you saw the inactives or like for practice or anything like that that the Jags posted, but
Not yet.
so on the first play that C.J. Beathard went out there for, he like injured his shoulder,
Yeah,
and
which you could not tell if you were at the stadium. You did not know he was hurt.
wow, that is insane. Because all over not all over the broadcast, but like he was like he was holding his arm like this, like on the sidelines.
Yeah.
He was fiddling around with his wrist like as soon as it happened. I'm like,
No,
are you
everybody
kidding
on
me?
the stands was concerned with he just had a 5 yard run and fumbled the ball in his first play
I know. Oh my
as the
gosh.
replacement. Guy behind me yelled, "No way he fumbles twice!" And everybody was like, "Okay, all right, yeah, that's true. No way he does it 2 plays in a row. Have some confidence in the guy. CJ's got this." The
Yeah,
crowd
she
was
did got this.
chanting CJ.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. If Trevor doesn't get hurt and he drives down the field, we're winners in this game.
If the defense stops a nosebleed against second string quarterback Jake Browning, who's been involved in 20 plus transactions since
Yeah.
2019.
I mean, hey, yeah, I know.
I mean,
He
Andre
had himself a game.
Cisco was hurt and he eventually came back, but man, I don't know where the defense was. We started great,
Yeah.
and then we just kind of fell off, and that was a bit upsetting.
Can we shout out Josh Allen? Shout out to Josh Allen that game.
Right?
Had a couple of sacks, an interception on that throw by who was
Yeah.
it?
I
Who
had a
was
buddy who
Boyd?
had money down on Josh Allen touchdown anytime, and he was 8 yards away. He almost cashed out.
It was cashed out. Look at that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Josh Allen. He's been having a heck of a year. I hope that he continues to have one. So
Just so we're clear, we're talking about the better Josh Allen.
the better Josh Allen. Yeah.
Lineman for the Jaguars.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine who is from Kentucky, and he was like basically saying to me, because we were talking about it today. He was like, "Yeah, you're welcome. By the way, we gave you to him, and dude, it's been the biggest investment. Also, I think it's going to be his contract year here soon, so we're going to be paying him a lot of money here soon.
Yeah,
just because of how
or just pull another Ngakwe and not hold on to him. Which I mean,
hopefully not.
Hindsight being 2020, it kind of looks like it's okay.
Yeah,
that we didn't hold on to him.
Yeah, so this game went down to overtime, man, and I mean, Bengals just proved to be the better team when it comes down to the nitty gritty kind of stuff. And then you got McPherson, obviously, you can't go wrong with him. Kicking the game.
If he hit that field goal at the beginning of the game, I would have won my fantasy game. I lost my fantasy game by a point. If Evan Ingram had one more reception, if T. Higgins had one more reception, if McPherson hit the field goal, I would have been golden. But lo and behold, I lost. Yeah. But I mean, heck of a game. I enjoyed it. Wish we would have won.
Yep.
Let's give credit where credit's due. Jake Browning got it done.
He did.
We started the game with him throwing a bunch of screen passes, little short dink and dunks. And then as soon as the Jaguars moved up and started playing a little bit of press coverage to try to stop that, it looked like Jamar Chase broke one loose and just flat out beat us. And he did. I think Jamar Chase did that a couple times.
He had 149 yards.
Fantastic. That's awesome. I will say it was weird most of the game, even when the Jags had the lead. The Bengals had to run more plays from scrimmage, had the ball longer and more yards, but the Jags had the lead. It was weird.
Yeah.
Which I guess just shows when Trevor's out there, the Jags offense is very capable of scoring and scoring very quickly.
Yeah.
But
ultimately
it didn't work out. We've got another game coming up. Is it Sunday?
Yes, the 1 o'clock game, and we're playing the Browns. We're going to pick that game.
We are. We do have the Browns. We are picking that. But before we go any further and pick those, we do have a couple more things NFL related
Yeah.
to cover right before we move on. Brock Purdy has moved into the favorite to win the NFC MVP. And we've had this conversation a little lightly before, just
Yeah.
discussing is Brock Purdy actually elite or not. I think I tend to side on he's not elite. He's surrounded by the Avengers and he gets the job done. He's just very good at getting the job done.
Mm.
After thinking about it some more, I'm going to say the
Yes.
exact same thing.
Okay.
Brock Purdy is not elite yet. I don't think he deserves to win the MVP in the NFC. He's very good at getting the job done. He's surrounded by the Avengers. If I were to make a perfect one-to-one parallel, I would call Brock Purdy Bruce Banner. He's not exactly Hulk, but if you're Bruce Banner surrounded by Captain America, also known as Christian McCaffrey, Thor, also known as George Kittle, and Iron Man, also known as Deebo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk. I mean, kind of easy to score some points.
Yeah.
And kick some butt if you're the Avengers and you're Bruce Banner, right?
Yeah.
Now, one day he could turn into the Hulk and we could call him elite and put him right there next to him.
Right.
But he's not there yet. He's Bruce Banner.
Okay.
What do you say? Fair to call him the MVP? Is he elite? Like, what do you think about this whole Brock Purdy business?
I think it's fair. I think it's fair to call him the MVP. Even though I have the odds pulled up here. But it's all depending on which one we want to pull from. Do we want to pull from FanDuel or MGM or Caesar Sportsbooks?
Caesar Sportsbooks. We've done that one in the past.
Let's do Caesar Sportsbook. Sportsbook then. So Purdy is favored here with plus 280. Then Dak Prescott is next, and then Jalen Hurts. But I think with Purdy, the thing about Purdy, he's surrounded by all this good talent, and he's utilizing it to the best of his ability. He's able to run the offensive scheme the way that the 49ers want to. I feel like if you do that and you excel with that, I feel like, he's deserving of it. He played to the best of his ability. He got the ball to guys who were open, he got the ball to the guys who were open. He has less interceptions than anybody else in the league, kind of deal. Then I think it's totally worth it.
So you think he deserves the MVP award for distributing the ball, even if Christian McCaffrey is the one scoring the touchdowns?
Not in the sense to like handing off the ball to McCaffrey. I think like the pass air game, I think, is what we're doing here.
Okay,
that's what we're talking about here. I'm not talking.
You're saying he's the best passer in the NFC, the best at winning games as a passer. As a passer. No, he's not. Crap. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
He's not the best passer in the NFC. That's Kirk Cousins. All right. Is he the best passer in the NFC?
Let's go. I mean, I'm looking here at like who else is passer in the NFC. Yeah, I would argue because
wow.
I mean, you also got Dak Prescott here. He's been having a couple of good games.
No, stop! Not you bringing up the Cowboys when I'm having a good day.
I know.
Stop.
But
stop.
Alex,
they barely beat the Seahawks.
I know.
Last Thursday night, that was the first team with a winning record they beat.
I know, but all of the sports betting has Dak Prescott as their favorite, except for Caesar Sportsbooks, which is taken up.
That's okay. We still have to play the games, and he's not that good.
Okay. I'm just pointing that out. He's been having a couple of good games.
All right, moving on.
So moving on, just before you blow a gasket.
Golly, can't escape it. It's a rating, not a logo. Okay, so you would say
before you stop
that he's not necessarily he's not Bruce Banner. You're saying he might actually be the Hulk and contributing meaningful.
All right, not the Hulk. I would throw him probably.
He's Black
Hulk.
Widow.
No.
Okay.
Thor, Iron Man.
Okay.
Maybe not Iron Man. Thor. All right. I'm confident with Thor.
Okay. Thursday night.
Thursday night.
The game we got tonight, Patriots versus Steelers.
Yup.
I don't want to watch, but it is
Moving on.
the
No, I'm just
only
kidding.
football game on. Yeah, I know. Bears, Chargers, who cares? Let's move on. But this is a theme. The NFL schedule makers have done us so dirty this year.
They have.
With the Thursday night games that they have slated for us. I know a lot of this does come down to, hey, we did think these teams were going to be good and they turned out to be absolute doo-doo, but they have missed on so many of these. Peyton, we're going to go game by game.
Yeah,
Thursday night football.
I have it up. Go ahead.
Vikings-Eagles. Phenomenal game to open
Good
up
game.
the year. Love it.
Yeah.
You got me hooked on Thursday night football. Let's watch the next one. Giants-Niners. Absolute trash.
Yeah.
The Pee Wee football Giants. Bad.
Yeah.
Lions-Packers. That was a good game. I enjoyed
Good game.
watching that.
Yep.
Bears-Commanders. Chiefs-Broncos.
I would watch that one. The Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, I watched that too, but the Chiefs are not the Chiefs of old. They were playing against the Broncos, who at that point hadn't won a game yet this year.
Haven't won a game yet.
Jags-Saints. Won that
I'm watching
one.
that.
I'll say
Come
that's
on.
a good one because, yeah. Buccaneers-Bills. Can't remember watching that one. I'm not interested in watching Baker Mayfield. I saw enough of him at Oklahoma.
Fair enough.
Titans-Steelers.
Eh.
Did not watch. Do not care. Panthers-Bears.
Move on.
Who cares? Let's move on. Bengals-Ravens. Wish I watched this one. I wish I watched it.
That's the
Dolphins,
game
Jets.
that he got Joe Burrow got hurt, right? Wasn't that the game?
I think so.
Okay. Anyway, you're moving on. Sorry.
Dolphins-Jets. I've seen enough of the Jets. Don't care. Move on.
If it was Aaron Rodgers, I'd watch, but it's not. Moving on.
Right. Seahawks-Cowboys. I'm reserving judgment. Mercy triumphs over judgment right here. Tonight we got Patriots-Steelers.
Okay.
And we got Chargers-Raiders. And we got Saints-Rams.
Gosh.
And to finish the year, we got Jets-Browns. Amazon needs their money back from the NFL. Whatever amount of money they paid to carry Thursday Night Football, it was too much. If they paid $1, it was too much.
I'm going to look that up now, actually. That would actually be interesting.
Yeah, go ahead. Go find, because, guys, I know the Jets show up here on this list twice, and I understand why they do. Everybody thought Aaron Rodgers were ending the year with Aaron Rodgers versus Deshaun Watson. But Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford, Aiden O'Connell, Mac Jones / Bailey Zappi, and then the Steelers, we got Mason Rudolph, because I don't think Kenny Pickett's playing. Geno Smith, Dak Prescott, that's a big name. Tua, big name. Lamar, big name. Joe Burrow, big name. Bryce Young, sure, I understand people wanting to see it. The Bears on here twice, but they're a disaster. Will Levis, Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
If they paid $1, they paid too much. How much did they pay?
Okay, so back in 2021, that's when the deal was made that Amazon was going to broadcast Thursday Night Football for 11 seasons. They paid... they paid $11 billion.
$11 billion with a B?
With a
As
B.
in boy? Oh my
boy.
gosh.
So here's what it says. So back in 2021, Amazon paid $11 billion to broadcast Thursday Night Football for 11 seasons. At 17 games per season, that's a per-game cost of $58.8 million. For the Black Friday game, however, that was this year, Amazon paid $100 million for the rights.
They're paying $58.8 million to show us Patriots Steelers tonight.
Or Panthers Bears, right? Wasn't that it? Or no?
Or Chargers Raiders.
Yeah.
Or Jets Browns. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's necessarily their fault. I think the NFL is a great product. Obviously, any network would be lucky to have Thursday Night Football.
Sure.
They're just getting screwed by the schedule makers.
Yep.
That's terrible. They need to have a representative in the room next year when they're deciding who's playing. Like when they try to give us Bears Panthers again, somebody in the room needs to say, no. No, give us Chiefs Bills.
No.
Give us a good Thursday night game every once in a while. That's horrendous.
Yeah.
Speaking of, let's go ahead and pick it. Patriots, Steelers tonight. Peyton, I saw a tweet that was talking about the last Patriots game. Talking about the opponent, it was like that's like running up the score, hitting a third consecutive field goal or whatever, because the Patriots haven't scored more than 10 points in so long. So,
oh man,
ESPN Bet right now shows Pittsburgh favored by 5.5, over under at 30.5. I think everything's exactly where it should be.
Yep.
I'm taking Pittsburgh to cover by 5.5. I don't think New England scores more than 14, so I think that over under of 30.5 is, man, it might be spot on. I'm gonna say over, but if it were 31, I'd probably say under.
I'm going Pittsburgh covers and under here. I don't think that this is going to be a high scoring game whatsoever, and it's just going to be another Thursday night football game that we just have to.
All right, I'm taking the over, so we'll see. Jags, we got the Browns this week. Obviously, we could pregame this one if we wanted to tell you guys what to expect, but we don't really know what's going on with Trevor Lawrence, so we're just kind of moving on, hoping for the best, but expecting the worst at this point.
Right.
ESPN Bet is showing this game as Cleveland favored by 3. I guess a lot of that is depending on who's the starting quarterback for the Jags. Over under at 30.5.
Wow.
I'm taking Cleveland to cover, and I'm not. Yeah, I am. I'm taking
That was a lot of.
I'm taking Jacksonville to cover, and I'm taking the over. I got faith in CJ.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, we're 5-0 on away games. This is another away game.
We are indeed.
So, I'm gonna take the Jags. By the way, do you want to go to Cleveland, Ohio, to watch this game? Tickets are as low as $12.
That's incredible. No, I don't. Who goes to Cleveland for vacation? It's not me. I'm quoting Joakim Noah there for all of those, or for those of you who remember that. What's so special about Cleveland? If you're a listener in Cleveland, we love you. Hit us up with a 5-star review.
Come on now, I love it. Yeah, so the Jags will cover this, and I'm gonna hit the over on it. So I'm doing the same as you. Just because I'm a Jags fan, let's throw it in as a dub.
Yeah. All right. Bills Chiefs. ESPN Bet as of right now. This is a 4:30 game on Sunday. Right now, KC favored by 1.5, over under at 48.5. I'm taking Buffalo to cover. I would take Buffalo money line on this as well. I'm taking the over. I think both offenses have that absolutely the ability to score 48 on their own. Maybe not the Chiefs, but definitely the Bills.
Fair enough. Yeah. In Kansas City too, so we're talking about it being an Arrowhead. They're going to be loud. Chiefs Kingdom is known to be like that. So it's going to be 40 degrees. It's going to be cold, man. So I think Chiefs prevail here. Chiefs will cover. It's going to be over, I think.
All right, Sunday night game. One last one to pick. We'll pick the Monday game on Monday. Right now we got Eagles Cowboys. That game starts at 8:20 on NBC. ESPN Bet as of right now puts Dallas winning by 3.5, and the over under at 51.5. Let's go ahead. All right. Day since last making fun of Dallas currently stands at 0 because of what happened earlier. But I'm gonna reserve. I'm holding back.
Good. Howdy.
Philadelphia covers, taking the over.
Philadelphia covers, also taking the over.
Okay, so we're
I will point this out, and then we're done with this. So no more after this. Okay. Cowboys are 6-0 at home. Just saying.
All right.
Anyway, moving on.
Man.
Moving on.
Dude, I wish Dallas were good. All right, moving on. Whole lot to catch up on. Major League Baseball. So if you're a baseball only listener and you're joining us here at the 38-minute mark, we're happy you're here. No buy, sell, or hold this week. I wish we could do buy, sell, or hold, but it's been 3 weeks since we recorded, and any fan submissions on buy, sell, or hold are far outdated. So I had no help. I didn't have the mental capacity to put anything together. So we're just going to move nice and easy and transition into our baseball content. And right now, nice and smooth. Lots to talk about. We're going to get to it. So stick with us for a little bit. We're going to get to the rumor mill because the hot stove is hot stoving.
Yep.
But it's been 3 weeks and a lot has happened in those 3 weeks. We're going to go day by day, review the transactions by day. It's not every single day, not every single transaction. But we're going to hit on all the big ones, all the ones that at least I think will have an impact next year as far as a team picking up an extra win here or there, extra loss here or there.
Yeah.
And we're going to start with November 22nd, a day or two before Thanksgiving. Eugenio Suarez was traded
Right.
from the Seattle Mariners to the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Mm.
For the Diamondbacks, I love this deal. I love Eugenio Suarez as your hot corner guy,
Yeah.
DHing if he needs to at some point in the year as he gets older. I love it. Love that the Diamondbacks are being aggressive, going out and adding pieces.
Yeah.
I look
Agreed.
at the Seattle Mariners, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, what the heck are you doing?
I was actually going to say that for another one, along the lines here. But I'm
Yeah,
with
we'll
you
get to it.
100%. This deal surprised the heck out of me. I didn't know this
Right.
deal was even possible. I didn't even know, like, nobody was talking about it, nothing. Like, I had
Yeah.
no idea that this was going to be available. Then it happens, and you're like, huh? Like, what are you doing? Like, this guy, like, is, like, done well in your lineup. He is a clubhouse guy. Why?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was
Yeah.
looking at it and I was like, is Eugenio Suarez like a clubhouse cancer? Is he a bad guy? But that's not anywhere to be seen.
Probably
I just
not,
don't
yeah.
understand what the Mariners are doing. You had a team semi put together. You're trying to build around Julio Rodriguez. I guess this could be a salary dump, but I
Could
don't
be.
get it. I truly don't.
But hey, happy for the D-backs. They'll have somebody in the hot corner. Do you think that Evan Longoria, what happens to him? Do you think he stays at third and then Eugenio hits off what am I saying? Hits DH?
Honestly, that just comes down to spring training. Who's healthy at the time? Who's the better option over at third? And you can rotate them in and out, keep Longo fresh by having him DH instead of playing every day at third.
There you go. Okay.
I mean, that's it. That's if they hold on to Longoria, because we still got a couple months left before pitchers and catchers report. So
Right.
I guess we'll see.
So happy for the D-backs, but Mariners, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah, Sonny Gray. He signed a 3-year deal with St. Louis, and this one shocked me. I didn't know. I knew that St. Louis needed starting pitching help. I didn't know they were going to go to the free agent market to get it. I thought
Yeah.
St. Louis was just going to try to build this thing over a couple years, but it looks like they're trying to add solid guys right now. So they went out and got Sonny Gray. I know that messes up the Atlanta Braves plans because I know they wanted him.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? Is it like a head scratcher for you? Because I think that's where I am. Like, on one hand, I understand the move, but on the other, like, I didn't know they were going for it now.
Right. Yeah, I like this actually. I like him in St. Louis. I think he'll look good in that red. Yeah, I love what St. Louis is doing here too. Like, just to hop on what you were saying, just to try to build up some starting pitching and starting to build up a rotation. Because not only did they get Sonny Gray, but they got Lance Lynn also as well. So he's coming back. He's going to
They
be.
did, yeah.
So they're building something there, and they're going to the free agent market, like you're saying. Probably, obviously, not what they wanted to do. But hey, man, we'll see. I'll be looking forward to it, seeing how he does there. Because he had a heck of a year with the Twins, took him to the playoffs, did well in the playoffs. They were the victors. Wait, were they? Did they win? They didn't win.
Who?
The Twins.
Yeah.
They did
They
win.
lost to the Blue Jays.
They lost.
No, they didn't. They beat the Blue Jays, and then they lost to the Astros.
That's right. Thank you. Gosh, I was so confused. So sorry. All right, anyway.
My bad. I didn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah.
So Sonny
good,
Gray. Yeah, they're trying to build something in St. Louis, I guess. Kenta Maeda to the Tigers, and this has been a guy. Speaking of the Twins, for the Twins has been very reliable, whether he's a starter or coming out of the bullpen. Headed to the Tigers, where their rotation is decimated enough where they're going to need a guy who's capable of taking the ball every fifth day. And I think they got what they wanted in Kenta Maeda. I'm not expecting anything special out of this deal. I think it's just a regular deal that you see show up on the transaction wire. Like, I'm not blown away, and I get it.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Go ahead.
Yeah, Joey Wendell signs a deal with the Mets. I love this deal for the Mets.
Okay, tell me
Love
why.
it. And I think the Mets are trying to address the same issue multiple times here because they signed Jose Iglesias as well. I think they recognize the need to fortify their infield and not have to resort to a lesser talent on an off day for Lindor or Pete Alonso, guys like that. But Joey Wendell signing with the Mets, love the deal for them. I think it's just more proof that the Mets, even though this is going to be a down year for them, they're still going to be trying to win a whole bunch of ball games because
Yeah.
Edwin Diaz is coming back this year for him, so we could see him again as well. Here's the other one. I'll let you talk about this one. I'll just introduce it. The Braves picked up Jared Kelenic from the Seattle Mariners and Marco Gonzalez, and I don't know a single. I didn't recognize a single name that got shipped back to Seattle. So the floor is yours.
What the heck are they doing? Jared Kelenic, right?
I say Kelenic.
Kelenic. I'll say Kelenic. Jared Kelenic.
I could have spelled it wrong.
That too.
Might be.
Oh, good.
Sorry, Jared. We'd love to have you on.
Yeah, we would love to. He was their future. Wasn't he not to like future outfielder spot? Whether you're going to put him in right field or left field, or you're going to have him in the lineup. And as far as I'm concerned, like untapped potential, like
yes,
was going to make it big, and then you're going to trade him to the Braves, where he's just going to do a whole lot better there with what they have there.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, definitely is an outfielder. I'd previously had been looking at him as a first base piece. I don't know where that got put in my mind, but I think they're getting ready to move on from Eddie Rosario. If you got Acuna in right, Harris in center, and you have the potential to put Kelenic in left, and move on from Marcelo Zuna and that PR disaster, move on from Eddie Rosario, who's getting older, can't see the ball as well, but still puts the bat on ball a whole bunch. You're just fortifying your outfield. Now you got an extra DH piece, untapped, as you said, untapped potential. I love this move for Atlanta. I don't know how it gets done. I don't get it. I don't understand what Seattle's doing. We're going to have to revisit this when the news is slow one day, trying to figure out what Seattle is doing.
Yeah.
Again, as I already said, Jose Iglesias to the Mets, but on a minor league deal. So I think they're trying to address infield depth multiple times. And I think they've done it with Joey Wendell and Jose Iglesias, so they can go ahead and check that one off. Yeah. Milwaukee Brewers signed minor leaguer Chiriot to a historic deal. Multi-year, multi-million dollars. The guy hasn't sniffed Major League Baseball yet.
He's 19.
Yeah.
I had to go look him up. I hadn't seen him or hadn't seen anything about him at all. I had to look him up on Bleacher Report to like see who they were talking about.
Yeah, you cannot miss. Like if you're gonna do this, you cannot miss. I'm interested to see how this pans out and whether or not it sets a trend, but they cannot miss.
Someone on the Brewers was like, "Hey, this is our guy here. We need to lock him up. We need to lock him in. Come on, like get it done."
Yeah. So. Yeah. I love this move for the Brewers. If it pans out, I would love to see them hold on to him long term. But, man, I just don't want them to miss. And then we saw Marco Gonzalez get shipped off from the Braves to Pittsburgh. The next day, poor Marco gets traded twice in one day or twice in 2 days. But Verdugo, he got moved from Boston to New York. And you can just take a second, talk about that for a little bit. What he meant to Boston. How do you feel seeing him go and such?
Yeah, so he was like the last part of the Mookie Betts deal, I think he was the last part of the Betts deal. He was moved from the Dodgers to the.
He's a part of it, definitely.
So, I think this is about the right time for Verdugo to be Verdugo. You know, we're about that. We were getting there. To be like, all right, like, I think we've had enough. He's produced what he has. He's meant so much to the city and what he's brought, with his energy and just even good plate appearances as well. And maybe being a Red Sox fan, us being a Red Sox fan, I'm not too mad at this deal, actually.
I'm not either. Like, It's not like I was hoping he would get shipped off, but I was definitely a little nervous about bringing him back again and then seeing management get a little too attached to him. So I'm kind of okay with the move.
Yeah, me too. So we shall see how it goes for the Yankees.
Yeah, we saw Craig Kimbrell sign a deal with the Orioles, and I'm a little nervous for the Orioles on this one.
Yeah. Where was he before? He was with Philly, right? He was with Philly. Yeah. So, and him in the bullpen, it was kind of questionable, even in the postseason, like putting him out there. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Orioles do with this. It's not looking good though, in regards to him, because I just feel like that's where bullpen players go to die. So, man, we'll see how it works out for him. I hope it works out for him. He's also getting up there in age. I'm not necessarily sure how old he is. I'll look it up right now, actually. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So like he's not always been the best option out of the bullpen, especially in recent years. So I'm a little nervous for the Orioles bringing him on. I'm just interested to see what role they want him to play exactly.
yeah, 35 years old, so he's up there.
Yeah. Speaking of up there, we saw Jason Hayward sign an extension with the Dodgers.
Hey, man, he was so electric when he first hopped on the scene with the Braves. Unbelievably
And
electric.
he's still up, still with major league clubs, still producing, I guess.
Yeah.
Rule 5 draft pick, Justin Slayton. If you don't know how the Rule 5 draft works, you need to go look it up because it's a little complicated. But essentially, the Mets picked this guy up, and the Red Sox said, hold on, we wanted him. We're going to take him.
Yeah.
So he got dealt to the Boston Red Sox, and then the Rangers on December 6th signed Kirby Yates. Whoa, I botched that name. Kirby Yates. I think this is a great move for him. A bullpen piece out of Atlanta headed to the Rangers. I think it shores up their bullpen for the future.
Yeah, he was a little shaky though in a couple of starts that he had, especially with the game that I went to when they were playing the Marlins, like more towards the end of the season. He was out there and it was a little shaky for him. I think he gave up a couple of bombs or something. So he's just got to straighten that out, and then I think it'd be great. It would be a great piece for the Rangers to try to get them to go to the postseason once more to claim the AL West. So I like this for them. So we shall see.
Love it for him. And then we saw Juan Soto get dealt to the Yankees. And
big moves.
Go ahead, talk about that move for a little bit.
Yeah. So the reason that he's having me talk is because his puppy, is going ballistic. So we're saving the viewers' ears for that. So, Juan Soto, big acquisition here for the Yankees. Absolutely, absolutely the right move. I think with what we've been talking about, or what the rumors have been speculating, is that, man, this move to the Yankees could be something here. It turns out to be just that. So the Padres, they get a whole bunch of acquisitions and a whole bunch of prospects. And Juan Soto and Trent Grisham, I think, is also in the deal. They head over to the Yankees. I like this move, even though I'm a Red Sox fan. This could get interesting, just to see how he does well in the clubhouse. I think he'll have a great year. I think batting average will be up there. He'll produce for the Yankees, and man, just that lineup alone is scary for the AL East. You got Soto, you got Judge, you got Stanton if he's healthy, you got LeMahieu.
LeMahieu, yeah, it's going to be a scary lineup, I think, one way or the other. So, I'm looking forward to see what happens with that. I guess for the sake of the listeners' ears and my neighbors, we'll go ahead and kind of wrap this up. We are expecting an Ohtani decision by Sunday, and I do want to get your final pick before he makes that decision. Where do you think he winds up?
Yeah, man, gosh, Ohtani has been all over the place in regards to the rumor mill. We've heard Dodgers, we've heard Red Sox, but that is so far beyond, I'm not even going to think about it. I think the Yankees were eventually on him. The Giants were on him at some point. But I think the Red Sox are trying to go for Yamamoto or something like that. So Ohtani was out of the picture. So I think what we're seeing here is that with the meetings that he's been having recently with both the Dodgers and I forget who else, what other meeting?
The Giants and the Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays. Thank you. I think all in all,
and the Cubs.
Can't forget about the Cubs. The Cubs being another team. Gosh, man. I think all in all, he's going to end up with the Dodgers. I think it's just gonna. We're just gonna have to see it through. He's gonna just be over there. He's gonna be another piece that that the Dodgers could add there with an already stacked lineup enough as it is when you have the second and third in the MVP with Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. Yeah, man. I think he goes Dodgers.
Yeah, I'm going Dodgers as well. I think I would be shocked if I woke up one day and saw the news saying that he's going elsewhere. I got Ohtani with the Dodgers next year. So that's all we got for you today. For the final time today, this is Diamonds and Hashmarks. I am the host and producer, Alex Pichardo.
And I'm the co-host, Peyton Machado. You dig? We'll see you later.
We'll see you Monday, hopefully without a barking dog.
Monday!